Hi Flosstube, Judy here from an Aussie and a Kiwi world. It's Friday the 20th of January and 2023 and we're back for my first Flosstube of 2023. So Happy New Year and I hope everybody had a lovely festive season. If you don't celebrate Christmas or anything, hopefully you had a nice break and you enjoyed time with family and friends over the summer period here in New Zealand or in the colder areas outside of here. As everybody knows, I did actually go to Australia for Christmas to catch up with family. It's the first time I've been over there for Christmas for about 6 years, 5 or 6 years, so that was lovely to catch up with everybody, and Craig and I had a jam-packed 3 weeks of catching up with people and really had a great time. I am happy to be home. It's a nice thing to go away on holidays, but it's also just as nice to come home, and this is one of the reasons why I love to come home. And this is Charlie up on my shoulder. He actually likes to sit up here and while I stitch and watch TV and things like that, so that's his posse, and he just sits on a pillow behind me to bring him up a little bit so that he can put his head on my shoulder. Murphy, you can't see, he's not in frame. He is actually sitting on my lap down here, so yeah, he'll probably jump up. Now I apologise in advance, they are actually barking dogs when they hear noises and things like that, so if they hear someone arrive or there's a car that's going in our drive, you'll see Charlie jump off and start barking, and Murphy will bark too. He's got quite a high pitched bark, so my apologies for those that have got earplugs in or earphones in, and hopefully that doesn't come through and deafen you like it sometimes does me when I'm here in the thick of it. So yeah, so this video won't be a huge amount of stitching. I don't have a massive amount, and I'll explain about that in a moment, but it will have a little bit of haul. It'll have some information about my holiday, and I do have some personal information that I just want to share at the end of the video. So if you want to hang around, grab a drink, and hopefully we won't be a huge amount of time on here. I know that there's lots of whip parades and stuff going on at the moment, so there's lots of other people that you want to actually go out and watch, so I'll try not to keep you too long from watching those videos. So firstly, if I can just start with just a couple of shout outs. So the first shout out I've got is another New Zealand Flosstuber that's just started, and that's Nerissa. Nerissa goes by the name Nerissa's Stitching Lifestyle. I will put the tag down below so you can click on there and go and check out her first video. Nerissa does some amazing work. She does lots and lots of samplers. She loves Christmas decorations. She has multiple Christmas trees at Christmas time filled with all her ornaments and stuff, her Christmas Santas and things like that. So definitely one to watch. Go and check her out and give her a subscribe, because you won't be disappointed with what she's got to show and her projects that she has coming in the future. So I'll put her link below. A couple of people that I'm doing stitch alongs with that are also Flosstubers: Darren from Dizzy Stitches, Kel from Kel Stitches or Kelly, Leigh from Creative Leigh. They're just a few of the ones that I am stitching with at the moment, and of course the normal people that I watch on a very regular basis: Ailarra, North Island Stitcher, which is Nicole, and Laura from Stitching by the Shore. So if I don't mention them throughout the video, I will still put the links down below so you've got other people to watch. There's some great videos out there at the moment, and lots of many hours to be able to spend to go and get enabled by all their lovely projects. So my projects are all just sitting by me next here. I don't have them open, so I apologise for the zippers, but there's not very many projects to actually show you. So as I mentioned before, I went on holidays to Australia, and on that trip I took 2 projects. I took my Adele project because I knew that I had just black block stitching to do, and I could get stuck into that. And the second project I took was the Magic Roses, which is one that I'm actually doing a stitch along with a friend called Michelle. She doesn't have a Flosstube channel, but I'm pretty sure she's got Instagram, so I may be able to get that link and pass that on for you. So I took those two projects thinking I was going to get lots of stitching done, and I didn't get one stitch in the 3 weeks I was there. And that was because I made a rookie mistake of forgetting to take needles. So I'm not too sure how that happened and why there wasn't a needle in my project, but regardless, I tried to go and shop and get some needles from somewhere. I ended up at a real cheap $2 shop and found a little cross-stitch kit, but the needle in there wasn't suitable for me to do the project. So never mind, I didn't get anything like that. I did do some crocheting while I was away. Luckily, I had that with me to get some as well. But never mind. It's the way that it goes. So right up until the 15th of January, I hadn't stitched anything since the 22nd of December. So that's quite a long time for me not to stitch. And quite a lot of stitches I missed out on adding to my this year's total. So the first project I started back in November, and this was the stitch along I'm doing with Dizzy Stitcher. Pardon me. It's the Mini Top Frog by Jody Bergsma, and it's a Heaven and Earth design. So this is what the design looks like. There's a couple of other people that are actually jumping in on this as well. Kelly from Kel Stitches is also doing it, and she's done some good progress on hers. I'm doing this on a 25 count Easy Guide fabric, and first time I've used 28 count, and it's also the first time I've done frog stitches. It's also the first time I've done tent stitches, so a couple of new things for me to try. So this is my progress, which is not very much. There's only a couple hundred stitches, and I do want to actually have this as a focus piece to work on every week or fortnight. So even if it's just a couple of hundred stitches, I want to make sure that this is always in my rotation. So I will talk a little bit more about my plans of what I want to try to do for this year. I created a group in my Facebook group, which is an Aussie Stitching with Judy, an Aussie in a Kiwi world. I created a group in there, or an album, so that I've got all my projects in there, and I will add to them as I can. I think there's 142 projects I think in there at the moment, and I will pardon me, I'll add to them if I actually start any other projects throughout the year, because there's 174 that I do want to work on this year, and some of them I haven't got the cover sheets ready to actually upload, but I will upload those as I go. So part of my plan is to try to work 2023 stitches on every single one of my projects, which is a huge amount of stitches, and I believe that I should be able to do that if I concentrate on making sure that they're all in my rotation. So I'm going to, in my album, as I work on them, I'm going to like them to show that I've actually put some stitches in, and then when I get right through the whole album of liking everything, I will then go the opposite way, and as I start working back on the projects again for the second time, I will unlike it, so that I then get to the point where I've got a whole album where there's no liked pictures, and then start again, like, etc, etc. So it sounds a bit daunting, possibly from your point, but it's probably the only way, or the best way, for me to keep track of being able to work on everything, and so that none of the projects miss out. So there's a big ask, and I do have probably plans that are going to become fake plans, but let's see how I go. 2023 stitches on every single project that I've got, starting from the 15th of January right through to the 31st of December. So I'm not involved in any games anymore. I don't actually play in Whip Warriors or No New Starts, as it used to be called. No game challenges or anything like that. So it's now that I just stitch what I want when I want, and I don't have any requirements to post pictures to anybody other than for my own enjoyment. So if you're not part of my Facebook group, please jump across, create yourself an album of your projects, and let everybody be enabled by what you've got, and also share your photos of your progress pictures as well. So it's part of the fun of seeing what other people are stitching. And it's quite funny how people post their albums and then you find out you're stitching some projects the same as some other people. So it's nice to follow along. Okay, so the first one was my top frog. The second one is the stitch along that I'm doing with Creative Leigh, and that is the Tiny Modernist, the Stitch Goddess. So that is this project. This is actually quite a fun one. I love the colours and just the orange hair and the design of this. It's actually one that I wanted to start last year, but because I was on no new starts, decided to wait till this year. And then I showed it on one of my Flosstube, and Leigh, Creative Leigh, actually decided that she wanted to stitch on it as well. So I've only had a small start. I've started at the top of her dress, and I'm putting it on a purple fabric from Steph's Fabric, or Fabric by Stephanie. So that's all I've done at the moment. But this is going to be really fun. It was hard to actually stop with that one. I wanted to just keep stitching. So now part of buying that pattern is that when you buy that one, you actually got a bonus design, which was this one. So very similar design, only different sort of hairstyle and colors. So if I manage to finish the Stitch Goddess, I will actually stitch the alternate one as well, or start that, so that I can get both of them stitched, because I do like both of the designs. Okay, that's the Stitch Goddess. The next start I had was another stitch along, Sharon from Fun with Cross Stitch, Darren from Dizzy Stitcher. Lots of people are actually stitching this one, and that is the elephant puzzle. This is a pain-free craft design. It's by Adrian Chesterman, and it's quite a big design. So it's the super size, and it's 643 by 629, so 400 and something thousand stitches, which is quite a big design. Now I've only had a very small start on this, so, and excuse me, it's still in the Q-snap, but and there's lots of fabric. So that's all the small start that I've had, which is pretty pathetic, to be honest, but I have only had one small sort of couple of hours to stitch on that, and I just wanted to get some stitches in. Every day I'm trying to actually start a couple of new projects so that I can build up quite a good rotation. The next one that I've actually worked on was Barbara Enna, and that was Dancer. Now this was from last year, so I was working on this one last year. I love this design, and this is where I'm currently at. So I'm a little bit disappointed with one of the colours down here, because it doesn't show up very good on the camera. It doesn't show up very good, but when you actually look at it in real life, you can actually see it, so that's good. For me, I've just got the flowers here, and along the side here I need to fill in the ears, and I need to fill in these little houses up here, and I believe there's just one of, it's just the name at the top, or the number at the top, 1823. I'm actually going to change that to 2023, because it's the year that I'm going to finish it. So yeah, so that's actually really cute. I love Barbara Enna design, and I subscribe to the Punch Needle magazine, because she has quite a few free designs in there that you don't see anywhere else. So if you're after some Barbara Enna designs that are free, then, and you like the idea of the Punch Needle magazine, Punch Needle, oh gosh, I can't even remember the name. I'll put the name down below of what the actual magazine is. You're probably yelling it at me right now to tell me what it is, but yeah, so I'll do that. So the next one was my Adele, and I didn't, as I mentioned, I took this on holidays, and it just went for a very nice holiday all around Sydney and Queensland with us, so, and didn't have any stitches in it. So when since I've been back, I have actually stitched, I think I got in 1,030 stitches maybe since I've been back, and this is what it's actually going to look like when it's finished. So that's from Tilton Craft. A beautiful project and quite easy to follow the instructions and everything. So also still in the Q-snap, and this is my progress. So when I got back, I'll put a photo just here to show you what the amount that was done prior to me starting this bit, and it shows you everything else. But so since I've got back, I've just done this whole big section down the bottom here, which is just over 1,000 stitches, and now I can just go in and fill this in, watching TV or sitting relaxing. So that's another focus piece. As much as I'd like to do 2023 stitches on every project, some of them, Top Frog and Adele, I'd like to actually try to get more of those. I'd love to get Adele finished this year, which may not actually happen. I'm at, I think, just over 30,000 stitches, and there's 90,000 in the design, so that will take a huge undertaking to actually do that, but we'll see if it works, and it possibly won't, but never mind, that's what plans are for. So the next one is the other project that went travelling around New Zealand with us, and that's Magic Roses. Now I don't have a cover shot here right now. I will put a photo just here for you so you know exactly what it will look like. But this is, let's quickly fold this. This is my start so far. The fabric is massive. Another Heaven and Earth design, and I'm doing this one with my girlfriend Michelle. So, oops, gosh, sorry, my shoulder is actually still giving me a little bit of grief, and I'm waiting on hearing whether I can go and have another injection to see if that's going to work. So, so this is my progress. Another one that I'm doing as tent stitch, and it's doesn't look like much at the moment, but this is part of her dress coming down here, so it's going to be a fun one to see as it goes, as it progresses. So that's Magic Roses, and my last one, which is, I've jumped onto Ailarra's Mermaid Monday sale, and I'll put those details down below. And this is Face of a Mermaid. This is from Total Cross Stitch is where the chart's from, and this is the design. Ailarra's actually done quite a bit of hers. She started from the top left corner. She's put quite a few thousand stitches in hers. And my Peasley little start is only 100 stitches, which is just this much. Sorry about that, I had a phone call from my husband, so the video cut out obviously when he called. So a little bit of the haul. The projects that you just seen were all the ones I've worked on since I got back from Australia on the 15th of January. The haul that I've actually had has been being made over the last little while. A lovely lady here, Judith in New Zealand, creates these gorgeous project bags, and she raises quite a bit of money for charities like a animal shelter, and also for the likes of the Cancer Association or Cancer Council and things like that. So the two, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bags altogether. I'll just give you a quick run through of what I actually got. Alice in Wonderland being one of my favourite things, I got a couple of Alice in Wonderland bags. So I asked Judith if she could find me some Alice in Wonderland fabric to make some bags, and she happened to visit over to the US last year and found this while she was over there. So the little zipper pull is of the little rabbit, and on the inside it actually has more Alice in Wonderland fabric with the little clock and some words. That's the first Alice in Wonderland one. And then the next one is We're All Mad Here, Drink Mead, everything sort of comments that are made throughout the show. It's a bright orange fabric. The little zipper pull says We're All Mad Here. And the inside fabric is like the numbers off the clock, which is really cool. I'm so in love with these bags, they're just amazing. A Santa Claus bag, which has got Coca-Cola. The little zipper pull is a little Santa's hat, and the inside of it has Coca-Cola cans. These bags are made amazingly, like they're padded, they've got the zipper pull, and the zippers are really, really good quality and definitely worth every single cent that you pay for them, and they're not expensive. So yeah, I'm actually really impressed. So the next 4 bags were made because for the Cancer Council. Judith raised some funds for the Cancer Council or the Cancer Society. I'm not sure of the actual name for it, but and had found this cancer fabric that has the little ribbon on there. So this was my first one. All the actual zipper pulls are very similar, so I won't show you all of those, but they've just got the little ribbon on there and it says Fight Like a Girl. And the inside fabric of each of the bags is different. So this one's got black and pink stripes. The next one is the same fabric but just in a purple, and it has the inside, which is the pink ribbons. The next one, same fabric, just in the teal, which is my favourite colour, and inside's just the pink stripes. And the last one is the front of the fabric has got the Fight Like a Girl emblem, which is the same as what the zipper pulls are, and the back of it has the pink and multiple coloured Fight Like a Girl fabric, and the inside is nice writing about, like, from the Cancer Council. So, and my very last one, which is amazing, I absolutely love it, is if you're a fan of Grease, the movie, this is actually my I'm Sandra D bag. So Sandra D, it's got the zipper pull is the 3 pink ladies, and the back of it is all things about Grease. John Travolta, Olivia Newton-John, Rizzo, all of that, all scenes from the actual movie. And the inside is all about Grease as well. So it's got Grease fabric. Judith does an amazing job. Everything right down to the zippers, the quality of them are just amazing. I'm really impressed by her work, and I now probably own about 15 of her bags, which is pretty good considering I didn't like project bags even 18 months ago. So I have those and multiple more, so which is really cool. Okay, so that's my haul of the bags. I have had other haul of patterns and things like that, but rather than bore you by showing you those right now, I will show you as I start them, and which may be this year, next year. Yeah, it's easier to do it that way. So the next little bit, if you're not interested in my personal information or my holiday, you're welcome to actually skip out here and go and enjoy all those other floss tubers that have got wonderful whip parades going on. There's loads and loads around. Ailarra, Kill Stitches, North Island Stitcher, Laura from the Stitching by the Shore, there's Sea Zook. There's lots, loads and loads, and I could go on for ages and ages and put all the links down below. It could fill up my description box with the amount that I actually go and watch. I am still a little bit behind with the ones that I'd like to watch myself, but I've got plenty of time to watch them over the however long. So I just wanted to mention about my holiday. The holiday started on the 22nd of December. When I finished work, and we flew out to Australia on the 23rd. It was amazing time to actually go over there and be there for Christmas Day. So I spent Christmas Day with my sister and her husband and their my nephew and his family, my great nephew and his wife Mel. So, which was lovely. My brother had come along, and so it was a quiet time with about 8 of us, not 10 of us maybe, but it was actually really lovely. And then Boxing Day come along. Boxing Day is from my mum's side of the family, it was always the prominent day for Christmas for us, that we would all get together, the extended family, on Boxing Day. And lucky enough, my sister and my cousin and my auntie have all kept that going over the years. It used to be for my grandma's sake, and then when she passed away many years ago, 1996 I believe that she passed away, I could be wrong with that date, but many years ago, it might have even been in the 2000s, I can't remember, sorry, when that was, but not that that bothers you. But they've actually kept that going all this time. So Boxing Day has always been the highlight of Christmas for my mum's side of the family. And when my mum passed away in April of 2020, they've definitely made sure they've kept that going. So it's more like an hour memorial Boxing Day, where we remember the people that have obviously enjoyed it in the years past, and we try to enjoy it for the family that are going to obviously be having babies and stuff like that, to extend the family going forward. So the good thing was my daughter Cherie and her husband decided to actually join us for the Boxing Day. So we picked them up from the Sydney airport on the Boxing Day, and then went out to my cousin Cherie's. She's got a gorgeous property. Went out there and had Boxing Day, caught up and with all the family, extended family, and had a great time. So, and then coming back from there on the 27th of December, Cherie, her husband Dan, and Craig and myself flew up to the Whitsundays in Queensland, and we spent 4 days in Airlie Beach, which is a gorgeous place. One of the days we went out to the Great Barrier Reef, and we stayed on the reef, which was amazing. I will put some photos up as we go along when I talk about these things, so you'll see some photos popping up as we go. We spent the overnight trip out onto the pontoon for the Great Barrier Reef out of Airlie Beach, and I have to say it would be one of the best days or nights that I've actually ever spent and on a holiday. It was amazing. The value was amazing for the cost of it. It was sort of $300 to go and do it for just for a day trip, and you leave 8 o'clock in the morning from Airlie Beach, and you get back about 6 o'clock, I think, that night. So it's about $300 for that day trip, and you get to snorkel and stuff. You get lunch and morning tea and afternoon tea. And for an extra $300, you can actually go and stay overnight onto these pontoons, and with these pods. And I'll try to put a photo here to show you what I'm talking about. But so you leave the same time, you get on the ferry or the boat to go out to the pontoon at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then you go out and spend all day on the reef. At 3 o'clock, that boat returns with the day passengers, and you get to stay there on the reef with only about 20 people, so 20 people plus the staff. All your drinks are included, there's food, there's canapes, there's snacks, there's lots and lots of things, everything that you can think of. You stay overnight into these pods and like a glamping sort of tent thing, and you're still on there up until 3 o'clock the following day, so it's like a 2-day thing. I'm not going to go too much into it now because I think it's amazing, and I could talk about it for a long time, but I don't want to bore you or make this video any longer than what it really needs to. So that holiday was amazing. We went back to Airlie Beach, and then we went to Brisbane, picked up my grandson, stayed a night in Brisbane, and then I got to meet up with Darren from Dizzy Stitcher, and I'll pop a photo in here. For someone that's just been on a flight for multiple hours, like 20-something hours, he was so chirpy and bright and had a huge smile on his face, and it was amazing. I was fangirling when I wanted to actually meet him because I just think that he's wonderful. And so we got to sort of share about half an hour, 40 minutes with each other, and we chatted, and we had McDonald's and kept the husband and his partner had dinner, obviously, and I had my grandson with me as well. So I do appreciate the fact that he's taken his time out of his schedule and coming back off of such a big flight from being overseas to catch up with me. So that was really great. That was another highlight of my holiday. And from there we flew down to Sydney, and sorry, my apologies. When we left Airlie Beach, we went to Townsville for 3 days, caught up with my girlfriend for a couple of days, and then we went to Brisbane. From Brisbane, we flew down to Sydney for the last 10 days of the holiday with my grandson. So I got to spend 10 days with him. He's 5, turning 6 in March. And he certainly ran us ragged. Like, he's full on, constantly on the go, possibly ADHD. But it was lovely to spend time with him. And then we come home on the 14th, flew home on the 14th of January, arriving back at home in the house on the early morning of the 15th of January. So it was a lovely holiday, just to get out, and we don't do those big holidays very often. So it was lovely to see the family and try to catch up with as many people as we can. So as I said, I'm going to put photos and stuff throughout this video of talking about it, but I just wanted to bring up a personal story to explain some of the photos that you're going to see, because you're probably going to look at them and wonder why that sort of situation is there. So back in 2020, when my mum was very ill and she was in hospital, I was very overweight and had struggled with my weight for most of my life. From the time I was sort of 18, I was 6'3", I weighed 120 kilos, and always felt that I was just oversized with everybody. So the main reason why I got to be that point was because I love food and I love putting things in my mouth, and it's usually the wrong foods that I was putting in my mouth. So when I flew over and seen Mum, what turned out to be for the very last time in early of 2020, I struggled on the plane to go across. I had to get an extension belt. I struggled to even just get through the day without being really tired and lethargic, couldn't walk for very long, blah, blah, blah. So I knew I had to do something about it, and seeing Mum in the state that she was really put a kickstart into me that I do need to do something about it, but I just didn't know what to do. I'd tried all the diets you could think of. I paid lots of money for certain things, certain diets and stuff like that. I'd lose the weight and then go back to normal eating, and all of a sudden the weight would come back on plus interest. So I'm sure lots of people have been in this position. It's not just me. I'm not sort of trying to say that it's just poor me. I put myself in that position and I had to get myself out of it. So when Mum passed away in April, I wasn't aware, but she actually left us, or left me some money from her inheritance, for my inheritance. And I was at the time needing a new car, didn't think about my health as much, but needing a new car, and decided that I was going to go and buy a new car with this money. I rang my daughter and got all excited and told her about that. Well, then the bombshell happened, and Sheree and I have a very open relationship where we're very open and honest with each other. We sometimes say things that hurt each other, but we say it with the best intentions. Sheree's response to me buying a car was, I think you need to look at your weight and you need to actually do something about that, because I want to have kids and I want you to actually be around to enjoy the grandchildren. Well, I sort of went, oh yeah, okay, got off the phone. That was the 12th of July of 2020, and I remember that date very clearly because it was probably the first time that I've been kicked in the gut so bad from my daughter, with her saying something so brutally honest. I sat there that night after I got off the phone call from her and said, well, you know what? She's actually right. So I'd gone through the medical system many years before, back in 2014 and 2017, I think it was, to try to get help from the government to get to go through weight loss surgery. And because I was so tall, my BMI, of which was, I think at the time, 46, and that's not healthy, as we know, you should be around 25, was declined because I was so tall. I didn't have diabetes, I didn't have high blood pressure, I didn't have any of these other illnesses that was going to put me at a priority to get them done. because here in New Zealand they only have a certain amount of people they can do throughout the public system through the year, and I obviously wasn't at the high priority list. So, and of course when that happens, you sort of get knocked back and you comfort eat and you do all that sort of stuff. So there is a reason why I'm going through this, if you can sort of be a little bit patient and bear with me. But so I got that kick in the guts from Cherie and decided that's what I'm going to do. So the very next day, on the 13th of July, I went down and made an appointment with my doctor. I said to my doctor, I want to get weight loss surgery. Can you refer me through to somewhere that does it? So because I was going to pay for it myself privately, I could choose where I wanted to go. So I'd spoken to a girlfriend that had actually previously had the surgery, and she recommended a place over in Waikato, and a certain surgeon. So I rang to book it. I've got the referral, rang them to make the appointment. 2 months later, and I was in having an appointment with them, and so that was 2020 in the July. So that was September by the time I'd had my first appointment, and I had weight loss surgery on the 8th of December 2020. So since then, I've gone from being a very overweight, obese person down to being still a little bit overweight. I've still got a little bit further to go, but I've lost 70 kilos in that time. So since December 2020, right up until now, 70 kilos I've lost. So I will put a before and after photo in here to show you just how bad it was, which I didn't realise how bad I was until I seen this photo, and it happened in the March of the 2020, which was my daughter's graduation, and it really hit home to how bad and obese I was. So I was comfortable in my life. I was happy with everything that went on. I was happy with my job, obviously my husband, my family, everything like that. The only thing I wasn't happy with was my weight, but because I couldn't do anything about it, or didn't know a quick fix, or I didn't know a long-term fix, I just struggled along and got worse and worse and worse. The scales just got higher and higher. I get obsessed with the scales, and I still am to this day. I weigh myself on a daily basis, and I know there'll be people out there saying you shouldn't do that. But to me, weighing myself every day tells me whether what I've been doing the days before is actually good or whether it's not. So if I put on weight, then I knew that I had to start doing something about reducing what I was eating or what I was eating. So if I've lost weight, then I try to do what I was doing to keep doing that. So it was, to me, it's more of a incentive rather than actually an obstruction for me to be bad with my eating. So we get to into my journey in from December of 2020, and I was about 3 or 4 months in. You'll see that in the before photo, I actually have much longer hair, and part of the journey of having weight loss surgery, and those that have had it will obviously be able to agree, is that you do lose chunks of hair, like you use clumps of hair. And I was always very fine on the top of my head, and used to think that I had a problem with having fine hair, but the doctor never seemed to think that I was. It was bad enough that he would refer me to anybody, so I just dealt with the fact that I had fine hair. And plus, because family members have got the same, my mum, my sister, my auntie, they've all got the very similar fine on the top of their head. So we were pre-warned before the surgery that part of the what do you call it, where you're recovering, part of the recovery is that you do lose some extra hair, because your body is actually going from eating whatever you wanted, sugar, all that sort of stuff, to eating very minimal, and your organs are actually struggling with that. So everything that's in your body, all your vitamins and everything, the protein that you're taking, is focusing on your organs rather than anything else. So your nails and your hair are the ones that suffer. So in the March and April of 2021, I really seen that I was losing quite chunks of my hair out, more than what would normally be a normal hair loss every day. So I made the decision that I would go and inquire about getting a wig. And my daughter did say to me before the surgery, what happens if you lose your hair, Mum? And I just sort of joked around and said, oh, well, I'll just get a wig. That's no problem. It's totally fine. When I come to reality in the March that I had to go and inquire about getting a wig because my hair was so bad, it was devastating. So the reason why it hurt so much was because always being overweight and never classing myself as being an attractive female, my hair was something that used to make me feel pretty. So I used to always had it straight. I looked after it. If I had my hair done nice and a little bit of makeup, I would get past the fact that I was the fat girl, and I would think that I was attractive that day just by my face and my hair. So here I am sitting in front of a mirror at a lady's house that does wigs and trying these wigs on, and I was crying. It was reality kicking me in the face, telling me that this is your future of what's possibly could be, having to wear a wig every day for the rest of my life. So it was hard, and I got a synthetic wig that time and come home, and I said to Craig on the way home, I think I just need to shave my hair off, because how the lady had explained it to me, I could put my real hair and sort of tie it behind my head and put the wig over the top and do that, or it's probably easier and better. She said it was suggested that I was to cut my hair and then allow the wig to sit on my head properly, and it wouldn't sort of have lumps everywhere because of my own hair. So on the way home, I made the decision that I was actually going to cut my hair, get Craig to shave my head, and use this wig going forward. So I will pop some photos in here, and hopefully they are horrible photos when I look at them, but it's my reality. So I'm going to actually show you what my hair was like when Craig cut my hair off, and then when I got a wig. So the first wig that I got was a synthetic one, and it was a longer wig. It was quite hot. I couldn't do anything with it. I can't style it. It was just how it was. Get up in the morning, pop it on, that was it. And I'll see if I've got a photo to show you what that was like. When I look at that now, I just think that was horrible. But it even got to the point, because it was synthetic, I couldn't be over the oven and open the oven with it on because it would singe it. And I didn't do that, but I know stories of people that had done that. So I had to make sure I didn't have that on. While I'm home and I don't have to wear my wig, it's all totally fine because it's all family and whatever. But it got to the point that as soon as someone come to the door, I'd have to quickly put my wig on because nobody knew that that's what it was. So after using that wig just for, I think it was only a couple of months, I'd spoken to the wig lady and said, look, I'd like to get a real hair wig that I could make changes to, and I'd like it to be shorter. So hence the hairstyle that you see me here right now. This is actually a wig, and underneath I have my head shaved, and I have now been diagnosed with, in the March or April of 2020, they diagnosed me with alopecia. I have the alopecia symptoms of male pattern baldness, so it's the top part of my head, just the top part where you see like a bald guy that's got the sides still got hair. That is the condition that I have, so which is why I still have my eyebrows. A lot of people look at me thinking, if you've got alopecia, how have you still got eyebrows? Alopecia affects people in different ways, and for me it is the top of my head, and I don't have hairs on my arms or anything like that. Other body hair is very minimal. I grow very little hair on my legs, so I only have to shave my legs like once every 7 months or something, which some people would wish that they would have the same option. So yeah, so the main reason why I wanted to be honest with you about this and bring this up, it has been something that's been on my mind to mention earlier, but I had no reason to mention it. And because I've just gone and had a holiday and taken photos where you will see me without a wig, I didn't want people to freak and think, what the hell, like what's happening with these photos? Judy doesn't have any hair on her head, and then all of a sudden she does have her hair on her head when I come back to do these videos. So I will make sure that I name this video relating to a lot of personal stuff rather than actually to stitching. If you've hung around for this time, I totally appreciate the fact that you've hung around and listened to me talk about my own personal experience. It hasn't been an easy one, but now that I'm comfortable in my own self and having this wig that I wear on a daily basis, I knew it had to get to the time where I had to share it, because I've got photos that I would love to share with you, even when I'm sitting here doing stitching and my husband takes photos. Craig takes it from sitting over on the couch here and I haven't got a wig on. I can't even put those photos on my Facebook group or my Instagram because a lot of people don't know that this is not my hair. So thanks for listening, and I really appreciate the fact if you have made it this far and you've stuck it in to hear everything that I've got to say. This is definitely not a poor me video. Last video that I recorded in December, I did actually say that this year was going to be a positive pixie year, and it definitely has been. I've started out this year being very positive, and I'm trying to look at life in a very positive way. I'm spending time with people that want to spend time with me, and I'm chatting and stuff with people that appreciate the fact that I'm in their life just like I appreciate theirs. So I've said it before, but be kind to people. Make sure that you're out there and you give what you want to get back, because I've noticed that since I have actually even started thinking a little bit more positive, I've actually had some more positive people come into my life that I'm truly appreciative for. There's some people out there, some friends and close friends that I know that are struggling at the moment. They're going through some stuff that's not very good. And all I can say is that I'm here if you ever need to talk to me. I'm happy to listen, and remember your self-worth. Remember that you are worthy of having a really good life, and what you actually go out there and provide is what you'll get back. So you are worthy, and you're all wonderful as the people that you are. If you need to change a little bit, look in the mirror and realize that sometimes if these things are happening more as often as what they are, you really need to build yourself up to be the worthy person that you are, to be able to provide that to someone else. So enough of me preaching about my own things that I've learned over time with tragedies and stuff that I've gone through. I love life, and I'm really looking forward to what's coming in the future. My daughter having a baby in the next 8 weeks is going to be something that's going to change my life, and I've already got grandchildren, but this one I think is going to be that extra special, to the fact that she's close by. I'll get to spend time with her, even though the baby decided that he or she thought that they were going to come early when Cherie come back from Australia. Spent a few days in hospital because she started contracting and bleeding, unfortunately, so was 9 weeks early. So I thought that I'd have to cancel my holiday and come back early. That didn't happen, and the baby is still baking, as we say. So I'm looking forward to March, when my granddaughter is actually having her first birthday on the 5th of March. And also Cherie is due to have her baby on the 6th of March or any time around that time. So lots of happy things happening coming forward, and I just want to make sure that I can be as happy and positive as I can. So stay kind, happy stitching, enjoy what you do, and I look forward to bringing some new projects to you. I'm going to try to actually start doing recordings every week. But if at the very latest, I will do them on a fortnightly basis until I can get myself into a routine of doing weekly ones. So I'm going to go happy stitching, everybody, and enjoy your day, each day as it comes. Thanks very much. Take care. Bye bye.